I'm Danyeal Chapman. I was born with lumbosacral agenesis, which was a rare birth defect at the time when I was born.
She was born without a lumbar lower spinal column or the sacrum.
And I had vertebrae missing above from my tailbone and up.
In addition, the pelvis was distorted. It wasn't fully formed. She was basically missing the keystone, if you will, that would separate the two halves of her pelvis. Lacking that keystone of the sacrum, the two halves had gradually grown together, and as a consequence, she had no pelvic inlet. She would not have been able to become pregnant or certainly have children.
And my mom drove me around to different hospitals all over. She took me to Chicago and Utah and Colorado, and all these different doctors trying to see if there was a way to make more space.
She certainly had the most severe form in terms of the impact on her pelvis. Patients with lumbosacral agenesis, they do have effectively a total body paralysis from the waist down. That means they have no motor movement or muscle function, and they do not have bowel and bladder control. And similar to patients with meningocele spina bifida, that has to be dealt with as best possible.
So finally we moved when I was about 14 to Texas, and my mom brought me to the hospital here at Texas Scottish Rite.
And then fortuitously, miraculously, or whatever word is the most appropriate thing, thinking about her and making the plan coincided exactly with the arrival of Dr. Mike Samchikov from Kurgan, Soviet Union, fresh off his tenure with Professor Lazarov and all the experience that he could bring. And we started to work as a team on how we might be able to safely manage this. And it occurred to me that perhaps we could split the bone in the back and open it up from the back gradually like a book.
So that was the situation when we start designing frame to correct her pelvis. We modify original Elizarov rings so the rings will be able to slide inside each other, and then we connect them with one rod, so this rod was as a hinge to move those rings around the rod anteriorly. Finally, we were successful designing this mechanically, and the frame was working pretty well. Then we created several diagrams, tried to find the best place for the osteotomy, calculate the best rate of destruction, and try to be as close as possible to the biological principles we knew at that time for long bones.
They had to design a bed for me to sleep in because of the rings that they attached. I couldn't just lay on a regular bed, and so they engineered all these mattresses glued together and had to cut a hole in it for the metal rings to go down in the bed, and the hospital never made me feel like I was an inconvenience or anything like that, ever. They always made me feel very welcome.
The unique thing about patients with lumbosacral agenesis is that they have normal sensation. So she has perfectly normal feeling of her entire body. Because of the motor paralysis, typically she would have to move around in a wheelchair, but she had stiffness in her joints that acted like internal braces, so she was actually able to move and get around quite well with crutches.
When I was first born, my mom was told that I would be deaf and blind and mentally retarded. I'd never sit alone. I'd never hold my head up. I would never be able to move my legs. I'd have no movement at all.
Finally, we were able to open her pelvis approximately 8 centimeters, and these 8 centimeters changed the shape of the pelvis. You will see how tremendously we changed the shape when compare X-rays and CT scans of the pelvis before and after the treatment.
And then, quite honestly, from that point, we kind of lost track of her. But we never knew whether she actually had a family, which is really the main point of what we did, was to give her the opportunity to have a family.
So I feel like, even my kids can tell you that they know they're here because those doctors saved my life, because they believed and they were willing to try something that was new and different and scary, and they did it anyway. And because of that, I'm here.
Of course, it was to our extreme delight to learn that she had 3 healthy children.
I don't know how many times I told my husband, who is very supportive, I just wish I could show Dr. Birch and Dr. Samchikoff, that they have blessed my life so incredibly. I just want them to know that every day when I look at my kids, I thank them. It's almost magical in a sense when you're a kid to go somewhere with so many problems when you're so different, and you can go to a place that none of that matters. And they'll help you, and they believe in you, and they show you what you can do despite of anything that's wrong. And that's a really special thing, and you don't find that just everywhere. And I tell people all the time that this is an incredible hospital that gives children hope